Kidney Bean, Confessions of the Chronically Chill. This is Samantha.
That's Tiffany.
And if you are listening to us and not watching us, we probably sound like the same person anyway. So no big deal.
Maybe.
Well, I know I have the country accent, so
Yeah, that slips in there a lot. But
and of course, as always, like and follow us on all of the social medias. And if you are on YouTube watching this, like, share everything. Subscribe, of course. We can always use subscribers.
yeah, I really wish that people would get more involved in the social media because it happened for a little bit, but then, we don't get a lot of messages or anything like that, and I don't know why.
We need, you know what? We need to come up with like a
We have an email.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we need to like go promote our business.
Yeah, I think that most people are more inclined to not email something like this and go to Facebook, go to Instagram.
Right.
We could be more active on TikTok. That would probably help. I did one TikTok video when we were in Fayetteville, but that was it.
I didn't even look at it.
Yeah, I actually go back and forth with I don't want to be on TikTok. I do want to be on TikTok.
No, you should be on TikTok. TikTok is the way to go.
Yeah.
You can go down the rabbit hole so quickly.
Oh, you mean like that recipe you were going to do?
Oh, it's still in the works. It's only like 6 months behind, so no big deal.
Yeah, well, we didn't do an episode for a long time. I think we both had life.
Yeah, so we have a lot to catch up on because it's been a minute.
And we haven't seen each other either. So.
And of course, you wanted to mention straight away something about...
yeah, so...
As you know, we shoot close to Raleigh-Durham area.
I feel like that was the wrong word to use.
What?
Shoot. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you.
We record.
I'm just messing with you. So in Raleigh, and a lot of people will know because they heard about it, but the mass shooting in Hedingham, and I actually got fuzzy on details and then really didn't read up enough on it. Mm-hmm. But I am hearing all kinds of things because the restaurant that I worked at for years
is literally
years,
across the street.
So a lot of our customers, regulars, people who worked there or do work there maybe.
Did you know anyone, did anyone come in that was affected by it? Did they talk about having to stay in place?
Yeah, that sort of happened because a lot of people, whenever they were describing, they described Hedingham based around the golf course. So they're like, ninth hole, whatever. And so I heard a lot of that of, people telling different stories of this, my neighbor said this, and people, but it's all just...
I did see a TikTok of a lovely girl who talked about being sheltered in place during the shooting, and then just the fact that we do not have an active shooting alarm on our phone. Like, we have the Amber Alert. Apparently that did get voted down. It was up for voting, and it did get voted down. So just pay attention to who you're voting for, because I feel like that's a no-brainer. We should definitely be having active shooter alerts on our phone, because I know there's a story of someone that, like, a couple hours after it happened, just ended up on the Greenway and then got surrounded by police officers because they didn't know. If you don't have news alerts or, say people, it could happen. I mean, in general, people get news pretty quickly, but it should be like the Amber Alert where everything just stops. And if you're in the area with directions and what to do, because it was so hard to listen to some of those stories. Like, a lot of people were saying that they were, held up with their family in a hallway. And I know it went on for like 4 hours. And then the crime scene was 2 miles long. So it was just awful. I did have a connection to one of the people that did lose their lives. So Mary Marshall, I did go to culinary school with her. We weren't best friends, but when you take those long classes with people, you really get to know, because one class in culinary school is 8 hours. So and you're working with the same people. Like, you might take this class with them and then have them again in this class. And so,
but also it's that hits close to home kind of thing, where that could have been me because she's just like me, or things like that. And Hedingham is just like, has always been this family neighborhood, and regardless of what people want to say when they built townhouses and things in there. I mean, it's just people.
We're going through the same thing in our neighborhood, but
regular people live there.
I know
that's what the whole point. Families live there, children live there. People are working, going to school. Everybody's doing their best to just live life every day. And Hedingham was one of those things. You always see it where they're
and so many people from Hedingham because of they all just come like across the street to. Overtime.
Right. And it's just one of those neighborhoods, but yeah, it's sad. So,
it's
we
just
just
so
wanted
sad.
to...
Our thoughts, definitely with the families and the survivors and the people that it's so senseless. So senseless. Was 5 people were taken off this earth way too early, and every one of them has, was living their life, like just walking their dog,
right,
or on the greenway or sitting on their porch, and that's just awful. I mean, just absolutely senseless and awful, and
yeah, and
we'll see what happens next, because what's going to happen? That's the question.
Well, and you think, like, you get scared to go out and stuff like that after that, but it's not, it's not really pertinent just to that neighborhood, because
Right.
of course that person's not there anymore, and that.
But this is something that happens in America
That's
every
what I'm
day.
saying. Like, everyone kind of needs to be scared, and
Right.
that's really
Well, and I'll be honest
unnerving.
with you. Sheila, my mother-in-law, has said, I can't believe you just go walking by yourself. And I'm like, I can't do it with anyone else. I like to be by myself with my headphones on. And I was carrying a knife with me at some point. I don't know what happened to it, but I had mace at one point. But it hurts my heart to even think about, because for those who don't know, in North Carolina, the Greenway goes all the way from the mountains to the coast. So it picks up in different parts. And I don't think what I walk on is technically considered the Greenway. When I lived in Cary, what I walked on was the Greenway. So it's very specific on whether you're in that particular route to the beach or to the mountains, depending which way you're going. But apparently people actually walk that. And that's insane. Like, actually walk all the way from the coast to the mountains, which is, I don't know how many miles,
That's
but it's
Forrest
like
Gump stuff right there.
Yeah, that is.
I was running.
So anyway, definitely, thoughts are with you.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, and I walk by myself, and I'm stupid because, I try to stay in the lit areas of the apartment. I try to be smart about it, but when you're listening to a podcast or you're getting into something, I try to look around, look behind me all the time.
Well, know me. I've got blinders on. I don't see anything.
And then so I'm walking in the middle of the apartment complex where it's lit up, and I try to just do that, but I also have my, it looks like a flashlight. It's like that big, but it's also a taser. And I've never used it.
Right.
Like, if I actually have to use it, what if someone is shooting at me? Like, what's this
that's the
taser going to
problem.
do?
Unless you have an actual, like, pistol or something. Even if you do have that.
And I'm scared to have one of those.
It's just awful. It's just awful. And it's sad to see that it happens every single day all over the U.S. And, other countries are like, they don't understand. And despite what your issues
it's hard
are
not to get into that.
It's super hard.
Especially when you think about who the shooter was and the fact that they took a long time to get him out of that barn. Don't really want to get into it, but you can draw your own conclusions
and also
from
the
there.
type of gun that he did have. I think it was an AK-47, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and so the way my mind is going.
And I know there's arguments, but I don't understand why a civilian would need that.
But
because I get that there are so many guns out there. I get maybe having a pistol.
Right, but
I get that.
The way that my mind is working, this is reminding me of one of those school shootings where they take forever to get these, I really don't want to get into it, but these kids, we'll just say, out of there. But then there's other kids who could be sitting in their car eating a cheeseburger and just get shot from the police. You know what I mean? Like, without getting too into it.
Yeah.
So that's what bothers me. Is like, you're afraid of this kid and you almost give like a special treatment almost. But then, I know a kid who was right over by the restaurant and got shot 9 times by a police officer.
Right.
And
I remember
it's like,
that.
so why didn't, I don't think they should have shot up the shed, but I feel like they would have if it was a different kid. Without me getting into it.
No, I just, because I'll say this, I try not to be, because they have a difficult job.
Yes.
And
I am saying, I do agree with that.
I feel like,
yes.
I'm not sure about Raleigh PD, but I know as far as like my experience with Clayton PD has always been pretty good. They're very involved in the community. It's a smaller community, so it's a little bit easier to say, but
yeah, you're exactly right that I don't know what happens and what went on in each situation. But if you just look at the whole, it looks like that. So, someone might be able to change my mind.
I think it will be very interesting to see if this does anything, if this happens to move any type of legislation forward or get any type of conversation going. And because people were TikTok was littered with people from Hedingham, and they were just absolutely terrified.
Right.
Like, I couldn't imagine, like, with your family in your home and just in a stairwell, because that's probably the safest place to be.
Right. And then you don't feel safe in your home. It's creepy. And
yeah.
But we really do feel for those who are affected, and I think we can shift the conversation.
We need to shift.
And we're sorry if we got too political for some people.
We are, we're just talking.
Yeah, we try not to.
We're just working through it.
I try not to. But I wanted to know, and this is a fun subject, the fun run. How many laps did my girl do?
Oh
I'd
my
never
gosh.
Found out.
Okay, so let's give a shout out to Westview Elementary School. Had their fun run yesterday, and somebody's aunt donated like over $100.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
So
yeah, because I did it by, what was it, $5 a lap or $3 a lap?
I think you did $3 a lap. She ran 36.
Oh, okay, that was what they needed to run, right?
That was the maximum. Well, and she was so excited that she ran all of them.
Yay,
because
I'm excited.
Poor Anya didn't realize that, it's a circle, and she was just on the outside. So she was running way more than everyone else because she was on the outside track. And I tried to explain to her after the fact that if you run more towards the inside, you actually run less.
Yeah.
But she was out there running like a windmill with her arms, and I've got it on video. I'm going to post it to Facebook. Maybe I'll post a little bit to the the kidney bean, in case anyone's interested in seeing how my 10-year-old runs the. And you can't call it the fun run because it was the color run.
Oh, that's right.
Kids told me that. They take colored, or it's already colored, cornstarch, and they spray it on the students as they run past. And
so she was all colored.
Oh yeah, and she got hit with blue right next to her blue hair color. So it was quite the thing. And I think her class got up to almost over $70 a lap.
Oh, cool.
So from the whole class. So that was amazing.
Well, I sort of had a little bit more stake in it too, which I didn't know when I made the pledge, was my neighbor's kids started going to that school as well.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, all your neighbors go to that school. That's where your district is.
Exactly. And so, but they weren't there at first because something with schedules or whatever. But now I get them off the bus, and the little girl, I think, is in 3rd grade. And she was actually telling me about the color run, and the little boy, he was like, I want my hair to be colored. Like, I guess he wanted to get color in his hair.
So they do it for 4th and 5th grade only.
I got you.
And they get to run through a tunnel if they're below 4th and 5th grade. So, but they don't do the color run for them. And I'm not sure why. It's probably because they get disorderly easily,
Yeah.
They're a little bit too young, but.
Well, they told me all about it, and so I was happy about
the fun run every year, and I'll try to, I am so sorry that I just texted you like the day before, like, hey, you want to come? And you're like,
okay.
Why did you not tell me sooner? I will try to be soon. No, that was on me though, because I thought about it.
But I also might have said no because I had a virtual day for Next Stage that I did.
How did that go?
Yeah, I think I kind of want to talk to them about how it could probably have went. I don't know. It was kind of weird.
You prefer to be there in person.
I do, because and nothing against the nurse there. This was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So
can't be there in person.
Right, and it was a private clinic, so they don't offer solo, like they don't let their patients do solo treatment. And so I basically had nothing to say to anybody, and I felt bad about that because I'm sitting there with the computer, just sitting there from 9 to 4 all day.
Is there a reason, or?
Well, they can't do solo, and they don't have somebody living with them, or they don't have a care partner or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So they had to tell a lot of people, oh, sorry, you can't do it, but you could do PD, and I can't really speak on PD, which I do tell them, like, if you do it at home, you have, freedom and this and that. That's about it. Like, I don't want to speak on how PD works or anything like that because I've never
work out for you.
Right, I've never even tried it. I've never done it.
I remember it was awful. Yeah. And I feel like that's a pretty common story. That I feel like the statistics for PD is a lot lower than.
So I told the nurse. Yeah, I told the nurse that it doesn't work out for a lot of people, but the people who it does work out for, it's great.
Yeah.
But you get one infection and it's over with most of the time. It's peritonitis that they get, and that can be terrible and have a lot of bad things that happen from there. People get hernias. You heard Yvonne's story where she was getting fluid built up in her lungs because the fluid she was putting in wasn't going out properly because there was a leak, I believe, something like that.
And then they told her she wasn't pulling off enough fluid, but it was sitting in her lungs.
Yeah, and it was like 40 pounds or some crap. So it was just crazy. And so it works for a lot of people. And I feel like I've seen it work better for younger, I don't want to say smaller, but kind of sometimes. I feel like, younger, smaller. But there are a lot of older women, no, I don't want to say women, but older patients. They just happen to be women, I think, is what, from, what I've seen, that it works out for. And if you still have residual kidney function, no matter what your age is, it works out for you a little bit better because it will preserve that residual kidney function.
Right.
But the catch-22 in that is, after so long of hemodialysis, especially in center, and we say that because you're doing less dialysis treatments when you're in center. Nothing really with the machine or whatever, but it actually will start to kind of make any remaining kidney function you have go away.
Right.
And that's what happened with me. The first time around, I still had a little bit of kidney function, but with my transplanted kidney, when that failed, it pretty much stopped off, I want to say, after about like 3 months. It was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Where I didn't have any more kidney function after that. And so it's different for everybody, but I did tell her that it really would be good if the doctors would, which I don't know if they have liability issues or what it is, like with this small clinic, because it's not Fresenius, it's not DaVita. It was just, it was called Avera. And it's just a private clinic, but, they had a coffee station and all this stuff. I was like, they treat their patients well. But
that's great.
And a lot of the patients were older. A lot of them were in assisted living facilities, and they can maybe get around and do PD in an assisted living facility, but I really don't know the ins and outs of that either. It just wasn't. There weren't many. I talked to maybe one person. I did it Wednesday and Thursday because they have the Monday, Wednesday, Friday scheduled, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So I got to see both shifts or both schedules, whatever you call it, and a lot of them were just no. And so I didn't even talk to any patients on Thursday. And the way the computer was set up, I couldn't see who was coming or who was going. And I didn't want to be like rude and be like, could you move the computer?
I don't think that would be that rude though.
Because I would like to see who's walking in, who's walking out of treatment, because I couldn't be assertive. I contacted my go-to mentor, Dawn Bates.
Oh, Dawn. We love Dawn. Friend of the show, Dawn Bates.
She probably gets tired of me. I always have to ask her questions, but she's just so assertive and so sure and so confident, and I'm not that way. And so she was like, you have to be the strong one. And this is what she told me on Wednesday. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to. You should see it, Tiffany. I'm sitting here, and I just see these little
feet.
I feel really bad saying this, but I see these little gray hairs just all the time just rolling by because they're in wheelchairs. Aww. And not to say that they can't do it if they're in a wheelchair. They can still do home dialysis. But I couldn't see them.
Right.
I'm like, I want to see their faces so that I can see who I'm talking to. And
so you couldn't see them at all?
Well, unless they came up to the computer to talk to me.
Right, okay.
Unless she said, this is Samantha, this is our, she kept calling me a representative for Next Stage. So I would kindly not try to correct her because I guess technically that's what I was doing. Mm-hmm. But I was saying, hi, I'm the patient advocate, but I only talked to I think 2 people on Wednesday, and I think it was really 0 people on Thursday. Aww. And I felt bad. It hurt my heart to be like, no, because I was going to say to her, or I did say to her, if you could somehow convince the doctors to rethink this, and if somebody is capable, maybe they need to rethink that.
Well, it could be a law too, because I know some states.
Well, I thought that before, but then somebody, it could, this is just what somebody told me, but I think they did post a link to an article or something. It was on Facebook. They said it's a federal law that you can.
Oh, really? Is that like a newer thing?
From 2018, I think it was.
That's almost 5 years ago.
I really don't. I need to be better about that. And I hit Dawn up a couple weeks ago about that too, because I wanted to know some policy things and stuff because before I start speaking about it,
Right.
Because I'm just not smart in that. And I wanted to ask this other person, these 2 other people that I've, seen on Facebook and stuff, some questions. And she was like, yeah, they have a lot of knowledge, or, they have great resources and things. So I still think I might try to get in touch with those people and ask them some specific questions. I had specific questions about emergency Medicaid, and it just breaks my heart to tell people no, that they can't do it, and knowing that they physically could. And everybody's different, because this nurse was saying, oh, that patient is really old or whatever, and I thought about it, and I was just talking to Sandy, and I told her all about it. Sandy, well, I won't reveal her age,
Well, nobody knows who's Sandy. Oh, I mean, I guess they could
talked
go
about
back.
her before.
But that's some dedication to our show if you're going to go back and try and figure out who Sandy is.
Yeah, but so she's my friend, and she is the age of a lot of these people.
Right. And you could see her totally doing that.
Right. I don't wish that on her.
No, but I mean, like, if
she had to do
dialysis,
she could do it. So everybody's different, because I see people her age who can't, and you know.
Well, now I want to know how old Sandy is. Don't say it, though.
She's 45.
Really? She's only 5 years older than me?
Yeah.
And she's your best friend, or was your good friend's mom?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not like Quincy's not my friend anymore.
No, I know, but I don't know. Like, I feel like there's qualifications for best friends. Like, you guys were best friends in high school, and then
I do still say best friend about her and Megan and Hillary and Trine and Kristen. And Jamie. So I have a lot of best friends.
You have a lot of friends.
I have a lot of best friends. Well, I've said this before, there are a bunch of, they're all women, so a bunch of them who've been in my life for a long time, and
because I mean, Hillary, that's before we even left Ohio, and you were 14 when we left Ohio, and you're way older than that.
Yeah,
now.
Hillary and I met when we were 12, and I still have really fond memories of that. It was so funny.
And we
Hillary. Used to, we talk about how I sound like the delicious dish thing from Saturday Night Live, but we used to always that was our life. Saturday Night Live was our life. And
okay, so for those of you that do not know, before we start our podcast, we do mic checks and all that other stuff, and Samantha is always super quiet, and so I always ask her to kind of speak up.
I'm a mumbler.
Well, and I'm hard of hearing and loud, so it just doesn't, like, I'm like, speak up. She's like, but I'm just talking to you, and I'm like, but he can't test if you're not
It's hard for me to talk loud, but
well, you're doing great. I feel like you're doing very well.
I still feel like really monotone, like, hold on to your seats, folks.
Yeah,
we're in for a wild ride. But we did say Yvonne, and I really want to talk about her because
does she know that you're going to talk about her?
Oh, I don't know, but I actually was going to ask her if she was ready to come on and talk about this, and I didn't want to be annoying, so I think we'll do that another time. But I don't think she would mind if I said this because
you know her a lot, but Yvonne, friend of the show,
yeah, she put it on social media, so it's not a secret. She did
put it on social media, and I did see where it was going, and
right. So I want to talk about that because that's something people do not understand.
Right.
I won't say, I guess, regular people, but people who aren't in this dialysis kidney life, they don't get it, and it gets frustrating to us that they don't get it because they have a glorified idea of things.
Right.
And then sometimes we get mixed up in that because the doctors are that way. And anyway, she had gotten called for a kidney. Exciting, right?
Yeah.
And the doctors were doing the same thing that they do, the surgeons and the transplant team, and she's in Philly. I'm not sure what hospital, but they were pumping her up. They were saying,
yeah, because I saw the post that this might be her last.
Yeah, and everything's good to go, and this is, we just have to do this, this, and this. You just have to do some blood work because, we haven't had recent blood work, and, and then they're going to go in for surgery. This is a cadaver donor, and they're going to go in for surgery to have the organs and specifically the kidney removed, and then we can transplant it into you. You got to get here, and all this stuff. So she did her blood work, and they're like, go do a dialysis treatment at home and then come back. And she's still psyched, she's still all pumped about it, and that's what they do. And then she got denied, and I don't know why, because people were on there asking why, but I'm sure she was just very overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah.
Because I did notice that, she's pretty much an everyday poster usually.
Yeah.
And I follow her because she's real, and because she's not one of these, I was just telling David about it earlier, she's not one of these, I'm a content creator, oh, I'm sorry that anyone who is, but
right.
a lot of times an act and fake, and for her, she posts every day, but it's for real,
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it.
And she was running for some contest.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah,
and I did vote for her a bunch of times.
Yeah, the Face of Horror. I kept sharing and voting, voting for her and all that because she's really.
There was great pictures.
Right, and she's really into all that. So I think it's one of those things where maybe the best picture didn't get it, but the people who were.
Did someone win already?
Able to pay for votes and stuff like that got it. I'm not sure. I haven't followed it for a couple days.
Yeah, I don't think you should be able to.
Well, I bought some votes for
I feel like it's kind of crazy that you can buy votes. Like, that's not really a true representation.
That's true. And I didn't buy votes until the end, and it was one of the days, because I think every other day they were doing a 2-for-1 thing, and that's when I did it. But
I think she said she got into the calendar. She's going to be March or something.
The calendar that she's done that before, and she's doing it again. But yeah, so I just wanted people to know that it's not like this magic thing that, like, because people will say, what number are you on the list? Okay, we don't know.
We don't. There's no way to know that.
We don't know. You're basically, to be really frank, you're waiting for someone to die that matches you.
Yeah.
Because if nobody, and please stop, because, and I'm saying this for Yvonne, and I'm saying this for myself, and I'm saying this for all of the people who are on any transplant list. Stop saying you're going to donate.
Yeah.
Just freaking go and do it.
Yeah.
Because we're not supposed to know anyway.
Right.
The transplant coordinator will keep it from them. Don't tell me, because I guarantee you, I've had 100 people over my lifetime. Tell me, how many people have tried to get tested? 3 people that I know of. That I know of, yeah. I might not know, and thank you if you did and I don't know, and it's fine. You don't need to disclose that. But
I think, and I tell people this, I say, put yourself in her shoes. You don't want people saying, because that's only, they're doing that for themselves. Like, they're doing that because you have a real need, and they want to help, but they don't, they want to help in the way that hell's paved with good intentions, but you don't have to be mouth service if you don't want to do it or you're uncomfortable. Just don't say anything. You're not obligated.
It's a big deal. I don't expect people to do it. I don't
But
expect
that's what I'm saying. So
anyone
don't
to do
give lip service. That's like, they kind of treat it almost as though, like, yeah, I'm going to try and make it to your dinner party.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'll try.
Exactly.
But no, it's
and I work in a bar.
You don't have to say it. Nobody is making you obligated to say it.
I'm a bartender, so all those people who were saying that were probably buzzed or, at least had a couple or whatever. So don't do that either. Just wait till you're sober. And also, I didn't ask. I didn't ask you to do it,
Because you don't ever, you would never ask anyone.
I've actually never asked.
Not
I've
one
never
person.
even put one of those things out there that I should have it on my car. I should have a Facebook page. I should
Jimmy
have all
Bates
these
has
things.
it on his car.
Yeah, I should have all these things so that I can get myself a damn kidney. But I don't. And honestly, I'm happy where my life is, and I'm happy that I did end up back on dialysis, even though it was the most devastating thing at the time, because like I've said many times before, I wouldn't have met so many wonderful people and been in this position for Next Stage, meeting so many more wonderful people that I work with, and having this opportunity to, it's very therapeutic for me to do this and to do those advocacy events and to do the mentoring that I'm doing. And, they've given me such a great opportunity. I'm very blessed. I'm very happy. And I have great insurance, and none of this would have happened if I wasn't on dialysis. So as much as I do want a kidney, like, it's not the end-all be-all, and it's not the fix for everything like we all make it out to be.
Right.
It's not a magic thing. When I had my transplant, I was sick in the hospital more than I ever had been in my life for the first 2 years of my transplant.
I remember
and then it
that.
caused all kinds of other things later on. And then the medicines that I had to take to not
the anti-rejection,
scarred my kidney to where it didn't work. So, it's hard. It's a hard life, but we just keep, we take it and keep on going and keep, rolling with it as much as we can. And we have really good days and we have really bad days. And so, that's what Yvonne is going through, this emotional freaking roller coaster that we go through, where you're pumped up, you're thinking, this is it. I don't have to do dialysis anymore. I can live my life and be free.
Right.
And then bam, so it's crazy. You go through every single emotion there is.
I know. It has to be.
Because she was on her live and she was, almost in tears of joy, almost in tears of shock, and then, trying to be realistic, trying not to get in her feelings, and trying not to have, try not to put all your eggs in one basket. But then
it's hard.
You're like, this is what I've been waiting for. All these emotions come rushing to you. And then when you sit there and wait, you're like, getting scared, and then you're anxious, and then you're, all these things. And then after, it's like, it's just really, really high, like a roller coaster. And then when they tell you, no, you're not getting it, you're in the deepest depression you've ever been in. Because
And do they offer like any sort of, is there anybody?
Not really, but I think that depends on the hospital. I think UNC, I think they do have people in place, but I don't think it's as, I don't think they actually are like, I don't know. Because if you think about it, somebody calls you the next day, hi, I'm from UNC Hospital. I'm the, transplant team therapist or whatever they're going to be called, or social worker or whatever. You don't want to hear from them. You're just like, okay, you don't care about me, whatever.
Right.
And so you just go into this like, but the silver lining is, and I think that's actually what Michael Gilchrist actually commented on the post, that now your call is coming soon, because if they get another kidney that matches you, they're going to call you in, you know, I don't know, first, second, whatever. Because I don't know if they called 5 people in. Usually they call, I think, 4 or 5 people in.
Right.
And everybody waits, and then.
But they're all thinking they're getting the kidney.
That they could, and if the team was realistic and real with you, then they would say what number you are in that little, you know, group. And because I was there one time in March of 2010, and they said, I'm sorry, of October of 2010, and they said, if it doesn't go to this person in front of you, then it's yours. It went to the person in front of me, because sometimes they'll put the kidney in and have to take it out.
Yeah.
Because the person right away rejects or whatever happens, or they figure out that something's not working right or matching or whatever. You know, I don't know, because I'm knocked out when that happens. But I was sitting there, just opened my book, and their little, you know, they gave me a little room and everything, and just opened the book to start reading, and they came in and said it went to the person in front of you. And I was sad.
Yeah.
But I knew that that could have happened, and I was, you know, I had gotten to the point where I wasn't even thinking about it anymore, because, you know, when I first went on dialysis, they had me thinking, you're going to get a kidney real soon. You're going to get a kidney. But they thought I would have a live donor. They thought that one of the 200 people who told me they would donate would tried to donate. Yeah. And so, and I obviously I have a little bit of, I'm salty about that, because not that I would be fine if no one had gotten tested, but the fact that they're like, oh, you could have mine, you could have mine. Please stop. It's a freaking kidney. Like, it's not a shirt that you don't use, that you don't wear anymore.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that, okay, so then I got called again. I only had 2 calls, and the second call was my transplant. That was March 9th of 2011. So that was, you know, 4 months later, which wasn't a long time in comparison to the 4 years I was on dialysis. And, you know, I think when I got to 2 years in on dialysis and I realized I'm not getting this kidney right away, I just stopped, you know, because they're like, keep your phone by you, keep a bag packed, all this stuff. And I see people going on Facebook every day, and I don't want to be burst the bubble and be the bearer of bad news. And it does happen. You know, I know a lady, or I heard a story about a lady who said, told the dialysis nurse, I won't see you on Monday. And she had gotten on the list on like Wednesday. Well, she got her kidney.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry. She got a call, went in, that one didn't work out, and then 2 days later she got
another.
Yeah, so you know, it does happen, but they get you all pumped and tell you, you know, keep your phone on you, answer your phone all the time, and, you know, pack a bag. But it's not always that way. And so people have a common misconception that, like, you know, there's all these magic kidneys just floating around, and I can just go and pick one. Well, and that brings up a good point,
is just to make sure that your family knows your wishes. Because, you know, if you want to be a donor, I know that you can have it on your driver's license, but that you have to still let your family know there's still a process that needs to be done. Of course, you know, I'm saying it here live so everybody can know it. If I do pass away and my my organs are viable, of course I want, you know.
And there's a lot of people for different reasons, religious and what have you, that don't. And there's people who think that, and I think we talked about this before, that if you put it on your license that they're going to let you die so that they can have those organs for the people who are waiting. Not to say that that can't ever happen. It's possible. I don't think it's a regular thing.
That's just ridiculous, though.
It probably could happen, though. But I don't think it's a regular thing. And also, if that's your choice and you don't want to put it on the license, then have it in writing somewhere, or tell your family, tell your closest person, you know, your
But you know how I feel about that anyway, though, because I'm always pretty open about talking about my wishes, because if you think about it, it could be so anytime. And so people need to know what you want. I would ideally like to be planted into a tree.
I know you. I think we did talk about this.
I would, but I think there's a lot of, you know, there used to be just getting cremated and being buried. Yeah. But I feel like now they're coming up with better solutions for the planet, because apparently, like, you think getting cremated is better for the planet, but it's not, because of how much it emits into the environment. And then getting buried, eventually, we're just going to run out of room. I mean...
I just want to be put in, like, a seasoning shaker, and then you can... No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's so gross. Ew, so bad that. Yeah. But, I mean, like, honestly, I don't have a preference. I don't think that I would be upset either way.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it's so important to just make sure, especially, like, people you live with, to know if you have a preference or if you want to donate,
right?
Or donate, your organs. Which, of course, I want to donate all of my organs if I can. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to need them anymore, so you can have them, or whoever needs them can surely have them.
I just thought of something that I can't believe I didn't think to talk about. I wish I knew I think it's called, I don't know the specifics to the link, but we're talking about donation, and I have a friend, Lindsay Westendorf, who has, I think he's 4 months old, somewhere around there now, maybe three something, but he's a newborn, and he was born with all kinds of complications of his liver. I won't get into the specifics because it's a lot, and she's, her whole family's been dealing with that. And there is a GoFundMe page, and it's Courageous Corbin. And
oh yeah, I saw you shared that.
Man, I feel bad.
We need to put that on the.
That's what I'm saying. I'll put it on there.
On the Kidney Bean Facebook page.
Yeah, she's hoping to be a liver match, because he will have to have a transplant. This little baby, that just breaks my heart. And he's so cute, Corbin. And so, if she's not a match, then they're gonna, or maybe somebody in the family will be. But liver, I won't say it's easier because it's still a transplant, but it's easier to come by because, yours regenerates, so you can donate a piece.
Right.
And so I don't know, if the donor has to do anything different in life after, or if their livers, if they have to, they probably just have to monitor. But, it's amazing. It's just, it's amazing. I mean, I just think it's wonderful that this little boy has hope, but it's still sad that he's going through this, because you just think, oh, he's feeling all these things and he doesn't know he can't say anything. And that's sad. It's like, you see him struggling, and they're always at, they go to Duke, they're always there, and, at the hospital, and it's just so sad. But yeah, so Courageous Corbin, and we'll put that on the Facebook page.
Well, speaking of children, I do want to get back to Anya real quick, because I brought, so, they have a class, STEM, you know what STEM is. It stands for something like.
Isn't it science, technology, engineering, and math? But actually, didn't they change it to STEAM to include art? Or is is that different?
I don't know, but I brought her, and you have not seen this, but this is hilarious. Anya, they ask them to come up with inventions and all that other stuff. And so Anya came up with, this is her invention. So if you want to read it, it's hilarious.
Okay, so
it's up at the top.
Baby maker. Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
But that's computer chip.
So she needs a computer chip.
Okay, metal.
But the way she spelled metal, her teacher thought she was saying she needed meat for her baby maker.
And candy.
Yeah, so you feed the candy into the machine, and it makes a baby.
And it says, what is my invention used for? Making babies. What does my invention do? Making babies.
And I, of course, I'm like, this is hilarious, right?
I think she was trying to be funny, and I don't...
No, because we've had this conversation before. I said, you can't make a machine to make babies, right? And she says, yes. Because the whole way we talk about it is we relate, for Anya, she wants to be a myrmecologist. So she knows a lot about ants, and she knows that they have nuptial flight season in order to make babies. So I kind of relate it back to that. I'm like, I said, do you know that doesn't work? And she says, well, yeah, no, I know when a man and a woman love each other and they get married. And I said, well, they don't technically have to get married. And she says, yeah, I know they have to mate, Mom. I know. And so, because that's all she knows. And I figure she'll ask questions when she wants to know a little more.
So animalistic about it.
Well, she's so matter of fact about everything that I'm trying to explain it to her in terms she can understand, but not quicker than she wants the information. So she knows that people have to mate to make babies, but that's as far as we've gotten.
Yes.
And I'm nervous about going any further. So
Me too, because it's too young for her to be that smart. When she talks about that stuff.
I think the way that she studies ants is her way of studying society.
Yeah.
Because with her, she has, with her having autism, she's not autistic, she has autism.
Yes. Yeah.
And she's smart. She's in regular classes. Her whole issue is socialization, socializing with other people. So I think one of the things that attracts her to ants is she sees how they interact with each other. So I think for her, she relates everything kind of back to the ants.
And we're kind of like ants, I guess.
The ants are way more awesome than we are. They're way more disciplined, way more structured.
Yep.
and they know their purpose based on what they're fed by their queen. Their queen kind of runs a dictatorship. I don't know if that would be awesome though, but they know their purpose and they communicate well using pheromones. And I learned all of this from Anya, of course, because but I just thought it was so. It's when you say she's trying to be funny, she's trying to be funny. And I just love this. And she was so excited to show it to me. She said, "Mom, I want to show you what I did for my new invention." But,
well, I wanted to show, but they won't be able to see it. The baby.
Well, I thought about taking a picture, and I should have probably. So one thing I do is before I post on social media, like any pictures of the kids, I say, "Are you okay with me sharing this?"
Yeah, that's cool.
Which my account is private. But I'll ask her if she's okay with me putting this paper on the our Kitty Bean Facebook page so that everyone can see it, because it is hilarious.
I'm
like
sure
the little baby she drew. So it's a machine that if you feed it candy, it makes babies.
And do you know what that is over here? Because it almost looks like it's a...
So that's where you feed the candy. And the baby comes out the other side.
Okay.
And then that's the little diagram. See, she says, insert candy there. Like,
okay.
So you insert candy and then the baby comes through another window. It sounds crazy now, but I will make sure to post it because it is hilarious.
She actually is a pretty good speller, but I'm cracking up about how it says computer.
Yeah, and they don't seem to fix it. The only reason she fixed metal was because she thought it said meat, because it says meat. She spelled it MEATL for metal.
Yeah, she put the A in the wrong
place. And so
place.
I think what the teacher thought is that she needed a computer chip, meat, and candy. So I thought everyone might like to hear about Anya's little invention.
That is too funny, though.
But I thought it would be hilarious because it's hilarious, right? Like everybody's been like, Sean thought it was hilarious. She thinks it's hilarious. Like she came, she's like, Mom.
Yeah, it is funny, and she's hilarious. She's always been hilarious.
She likes to make people laugh. I wish that she would really try to not just come up with silly things, like really try to come up with like an actual like really take this seriously.
Yeah, because she would come up with something probably
awesome. Yeah, but
good.
she, I feel like. Her idea is to make everybody happy and make everyone laugh. And so if she's charged with something that uses her imagination, she's going to skew it in a way that make people laugh because she likes to make people laugh.
Did everything she was supposed to do.
Yeah, it's rather hilarious.
Yeah. But I think it's funny that you ask her if you could post, because remember when she was like, I would say maybe 6. Yeah. Everything was post it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And she'd have you take pictures of her stuffies all lined up. Remember when she did them in colors? Yeah. But that was cool.
No, Sean helped her with that. She had an assignment when we were in lockdown. Not lockdown, but where she did school online for 2nd grade.
Yeah. So
and one of her assignments was to line things up by color, but Sean, of course, was like really excited and helped her with it.
It was cool, though.
It looked amazing. The picture looks amazing. I think we have it on Facebook.
But I still have all those pictures from when we were in Michael's, and you had to go do something, and so we were just kind of hanging out in Michael's.
And she took her picture of her by the flowers.
Yeah. She was coming up with all these, like, she's like, this yellow flower is the sun, and then this is, and she's doing all these little things, and I think she was only like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And she's like, post it.
No, I asked her, well, her and Emma, which Emma never wants even her picture taken because she's 12. John Mulaney did a hilarious thing about, he said, my brother was 12, and if anyone looked at him, he would just die or something like that. I don't know. John Mulaney is hilarious. I've been listening to a lot of him.
I don't know who that is.
John Mulaney? Yeah, look him up. You'll like him. He used to write for SNL, and now he's on a show with Nick Kroll called Big Mouth, which is very nuts.
I don't like that show.
No, it's uncomfortable.
I don't like the way that the drawings are either. Like that that one thing's
funny.
Nose.
To me, it's funny. It's
I
not
know you
funny.
guys watch it. I've seen it over there.
I think
That's
Sean kind of likes it. But John Mulaney's stand-up is actually really good. Nick Kroll's stand-up is make sure you don't eat, because I made the mistake of watching his stand-up and eating it, and he has a lot of like gross jokes.
I'm like looking at you like you're gross or something.
Yeah, like no, it's a lot of gross jokes, and I mean like not like it's just gross. So
you know what? I've watched 0 things in the last like 3 weeks. Like
really,
I just don't watch stuff. Like I have to force myself. Now I got all ready to watch Hocus Pocus when it was like coming out.
I heard it was not good.
I heard that too, but I heard some people say it was, but I don't know, like I got all ready to watch it, and then I went in to cook I was going to make soup and just sit there and hang out and have like a night. I decided not to do dialysis because of the storm. And then as soon as I stepped foot in the kitchen, the power went out. So I was like,
how long was the power out though?
3 hours. And I really do.
That's even with you being
yeah, I think that's the reason it got back on, because I'm on the list for Duke Energy for life-sustaining equipment.
Right.
And I think, of course, it's not going to be just my apartment. It's going to be the whole grid.
Complex, yeah.
And the whole, like, it actually...
Dang, we didn't even lose power that night. But good thing you didn't do it.
But people, people right down on Cleveland Road didn't have power for 14 hours. So I'm like, is our apartment back on? I think it's because of that. It's because of me. No,
it's because of I did that.
But it was just like really crazy to look at that. Like, oh wow, that could be.
But they have to do it like that. They have to.
They text me and said, we see that someone here has life-sustaining equipment or whatever it said. And
do you think you're the only one in the apartment?
No, I'm sure there's people who have oxygen. No, well, because you have the portable oxygen, but those big plug-in ones.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody has. I think I'm the only one doing dialysis. Maybe there could be some PD people in there, but I have a feeling I might be the only home hemo in the complex. I don't know.
That's I wonder.
I don't know. And when neighbors probably talk about it and stuff, they probably think it's an old lady. Like when I pulled in, David was in his driveway getting the mail, and he's like, he looks shocked and scared. I was like laughing. I was cracking up. I was like, why do you look so scared? He said, you drive like an old lady. You look all short in that car. And I have a station wagon. I have a Subaru Outback. So I like,
oh my God.
I was like, I am an old lady. I'm wearing my old lady sweater.
You don't drive like an old lady though.
I do now. I don't speed like I used to. Like I get scared to speed now. I used to floor it and have all kinds of speeding tickets, but now, like, I do.
I'm so glad
sometimes.
You're done with that, because I was like, you were like, oh, I just got a speeding ticket, and then you'd be mad about it. I'm like, but you're speeding, right. And then you're driving a red car. Remember your red car?
Yeah, that's when I got all my speeding tickets. Then I think I got one in my Jeep.
It says, "Hello, just pull me over. I'm probably speeding."
Yeah,
what was that? The Grand Prix?
Grand Am, yeah.
Oh, Grand Am.
Yeah, and I mean, didn't have it because it was like sports car or anything. I don't know. It was like
no, I mean, like when we got cars, it was I had a
what
Cavalier. They're like, this is the cheapest car in the lot, and I'm like, oh, take it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's probably what I could afford.
I mean, before we get to
because we need to start wrapping up.
What I wanted to say though is we haven't talked. Is there anything that you've been doing or like?
Well, I did go to Philadelphia.
Okay.
We haven't talked since, I think, before I went to Philadelphia.
We haven't had the podcast, but we've talked.
Yeah. I mean, that was a great show. Ramstein was a great show. Mm-hmm. I did have anxiety riding around in a car because I did cry one time. It's just so crazy. It's like horn. Finish the
stop and go, but honk. I don't know what you're.
People were honking and then like massively switching lanes, horn honking. That's an alliteration I don't like. I can't do it. Horn honking.
sounds
me.
dirty.
So people. Remember what Casey used to say? We can't say it here, but remember what Casey used to say?
I don't remember.
Our sister Casey would say.
I know who she is.
No, I'm telling people we have a sister named Casey.
She used to say something about? I do know. No, I think we could say it.
You say it then.
Every time someone honked the horn, she'd go, horn blows as a driver. I think people probably
I mean, we were like 10
that.
hearing that going.
Yeah. Well, I actually didn't know what it meant then, but it's so funny.
Well, other than that, we did find out that that Peanut does have chronic kidney disease. He had a bad infection, and we cleared up the infection, but part of the process we had to do was, and Peanut weighs 9 pounds and 5 ounces, and it took 3 of us to do this. We had to have the IV bag full of saline. And then we had to lift up a pack of his skin, and then I had to stick the needle in. So Sean would hold him, and then the muzzle we have for him is literally the size of a quarter. So we would put the muzzle on him, which was like hard enough, and then Sean had to hold him in such a way, and then I would have one of the girls hold the IV bag because once you get the needle in, I learned that once you take your hand off of it, it just comes flying out. So he got poked a couple times, but we had to do that every other day. And so I would have the girls hold the IV bag. I would put the needle in, hold it with one hand, and then get the thingy so I could start it. What's that called?
I'm sure this was like insane. The syringe?
No. So I have the needle in, but that thing that stops and starts the liquid going.
The clamp?
The clamp.
Oh.
God, such a simple word. I can't believe I didn't get that. But we did that for like 2 weeks because they originally did an antibiotic and they put fluid under the skin. And then they said, let's see how that does. Brought him back. His kidney levels were not good. So they said, let's try a more assertive antibiotic, but you're going to need to put fluid under his skin every other day, a whole unit of saline.
But just for 2 weeks.
Yeah, just for 2 weeks, because I said, I can't do this like for the rest of his life. But we took him back. His levels were a little bit better, but they did say that he does still have, kidney issues. So now the only thing they do for dogs really is put him on a special expensive diet.
Yeah.
So he's on the kidney diet now. So he's like his Aunt Sammy, but he's just on the... And then I thought about, I don't know why, my mind went to doggy dialysis.
No, I did too, because when people have dialysis supplies left over and you can't give it to other dialysis patients because it's a prescription.
Right.
Which I think you could honestly give saline. But I didn't say that.
Right.
But people say, oh, veterinarian clinics will take it. And then I'm thinking, I guess that they'll use the saline for stuff like what you just described. But what would they use the dialysate for? Do animals do dialysis?
Not that I'm aware of. They said that the Peanut, they said all we do for, Peanut's like, we don't know how old he is really anyway. So he's probably 12-ish. And they said that they just put him on the kidney diet. And so I was so grateful to be done with those because he was getting to the point where he didn't like us because he knew it was coming. And he was like, and it was just so sad.
Didn't you say you paid $50-something for a bag of saline? Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, so we had paid, and this is with a discount because I am a PetSmart member. Like I pay for Peanut to have doggy insurance. Yeah. So that he can have his teeth cleaned and have the visits and stuff. That's paid for. But then when you buy extra stuff, they give you a discount because you're on the plan. So we paid $50 for that, and that's at a discounted rate. For saline, for the needles, and for the thing. And Sean was so irritated. He said, we could get this online. And then he looked it up, and he's like, yeah, it's about the same.
And that's one of those times that, I'm not saying this, but that I wish I would have been able to just be like, here's a bag of saline.
I know. But you know.
You really shouldn't, though, yeah.
No, I know you shouldn't. And honestly, you're thinking about, it only took 2 of them to do because they give you a demonstration.
Yeah, well, they do.
Because they were like, do you want us to show you how to do? Yes, I want you to show me what I'm supposed to do. He weighs 9 pounds. Yeah. I don't have a lot of dogs to work with.
Sticking a needle in this dog.
So it took 2 of them. He did great with them. And I was thinking, all right, well... No, not when we got home. I'm sure
this was a production because I know how you get. And
yeah, so I was getting obnoxious. And then Sean would be like, I can't hold him. And
then if it's Emma or Anya, they're probably just like, I'm going to stand here and hold this until you
but I think they were laughing because we were
probably because I could see you yelling and, oh my God, I can't get it. And she cusses a lot too, everybody. Then the Danny Arsu comes out.
The Danny Arsu does come out. And I was just like, I can't. Because I would poke and it wouldn't go in. And then I would poke and get it in and then move my hand and it came out and then I had to poke him again.
Yeah.
So we figured out a process to do it, but thank goodness we are done with that because it took a while. He's so small for us to get a unit of fluid in. So that was that. But other than that, not not too much going on. But he seems to be doing better. He's not having accidents. We have no wood in this, David. We need wood in the studio.
Why does all these conversations sound dirty?
Because I need to knock on wood. I'll just knock on my forehead like people used to do back in school.
God, what was I going to say about where I just went off?
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I did it because I was trying to be funny. But it was something about Peanut, but I don't remember. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was, I really thought, and I think I told David before we started recording, and I think I might have said something to maybe Slim. I thought you were going to tell me something, and maybe that was it, but I kind of knew Peanut was sick, so I don't think that was it.
Was there something else I was supposed to tell you?
I feel like you were going to drop this bomb on me or something about I don't know what, because you hadn't talked to me for a while, and then I was like, we're just going to have a conversation. And, and I really wanted to talk a little, mostly about with Yvonne's situation and with the kidney, because I just want people to know that it's not what they think and do some research.
Because people assume it's like a list and where are you on the list, and they don't get all of the actual
things that go into it.
Well, it's a lot of moving pieces.
Yes, and so everybody has to be at
that would be like a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Variables.
Yes,
that's the word I'm looking. I'm thinking variances, but that's only because I was watching something about Loki and the variances of.
I have no idea.
Yeah, you don't know about that, but.
But yeah, so I just, I wanted to talk a lot about that. But for something, I think because I felt like, I didn't feel like you were avoiding me, but I felt like you were avoiding saying something.
Yeah, okay, so what people don't know is sometimes it's better for us not to talk about something so that we can talk about it here, because if we talk about it beforehand, it doesn't get the reaction. So sometimes, and then, I don't know, but we talk every day. Well, usually we text every day.
Just text, yeah. So I want to keep on that theme, even though I felt like I was like, we could get away from that and switch up our, whole atmosphere.
Well, we did talk a lot about kidneys today, which is kind of like focusing in what we said we were going to focus into, but I think like we go any which way.
Yeah, so. And the beginning with the mass shooting in Hedingham, it all does tie into mental health. So yeah, I mean,
I feel like everything does, and I like that it's getting more. Anya had a bad day because someone was blowing a whistle. So Anya has the sensory issues, and she came to the car crying, and a teacher followed her out, and then. She says, I just don't understand, Mom. I've been having a lot of sensory issues, so I'm going to make an appointment with the counselor at school. And she did. And it said it helped.
That's so awesome.
She said it helped her. And there was like, it gave her things to distract her from the sensory issues.
Yeah.
Like to count how many things she sees, how many things she hears. And she was like really excited about it. So I was like, that's awesome because...
Yeah, it's really good that kids are, and I hope this is happening more than, or as much as it should. Kids are having places to...
Resources.
Yes, go to someone. And I did too. When I was 12, I went to the school counselor in Ohio.
I never went to the school counselor.
And it helped me.
I wish I would have thought to. I needed to.
Right, nobody told me to. Somehow I just knew, and it was good that Anya knew, because we need to teach them where to put these emotions and how to deal with them and things, because we didn't... No, we just put them, like, I luckily found writing, and that's what helped me a lot, was to write it down or write poetry or what have you.
Right.
Some people just don't know how to... Well, I think
they had a class that was actually taught by the counselor at some point, so they actually knew the counselor.
Yeah.
From the classroom, and they feel comfortable to go to the counselor.
Yeah, because usually it's just this office, and you see a counselor, but you don't understand.
Yeah, and you're like, what do I do there?
Who's that person? Yeah, I knew the counselor as well, because I think she also like subbed for art or something like that. Miss Ambrosia. I love that. I still have fond memories of her. But I'm supposed to teach Anya how to journal still, and I still do want to do that. Yes,
and see, the thing is she's kind of like me, so she might start doing it and not finish,
but
who knows? Right. So we need to kind of, we're getting at the hour mark.
I know, I thought it was going to be a short one, but,
We did say it was going to be a short one, but we haven't been talking.
Talk a lot.
Well, I mean, I guess it's good that we have a podcast.
Yeah.
Even if no one listens, which hopefully someone out there is listening and getting stuff out of it. Like some people have told me, I've been following your podcast, and then it's always like, the production is amazing.
The production is amazing. The production. Thanks, David.
Southpaw, shout out.
Oh yeah, Southpaw.
Yeah, it's David Richards at Southpaw.
Yeah,
shout out.
Very cool.
He's gonna yell at us later for doing that, probably. I don't know.
No,
maybe.
It's very cool. He deserves the recognition.
Yes,
he's good at what he does.
Absolutely. Anything to say as we head out?
Peace. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't know. No, I mean, you already said follow us and stuff. I want us to get more on TikTok. I think I'll try to do that. So since everyone's on TikTok, young and old,
we should just have my kids help with that. They know about that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Because I think I would, feel kind of like it wasn't going to be interesting or whatever. That's how I felt with the first video I made. And you just got to do it, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get out there. We'll get better at this, I promise.
And I think I want to dress up if we do it next week. Can we do one next week? I don't know. We'll talk about that. But I think I want to dress up for Halloween.
You wanted to dress up this week, and I don't have a Halloween costume because...
Well, for this, you don't have to do anything crazy. Maybe just some makeup and a freaking wig. I don't know.
That's what I have to do to get to look like this.
So, I was saying I was going to do like a Peggy Bundy wig and have a cigarette or something, but...
That's hilarious.
Gosh, now I don't know what it's going to... Oh, we should have a guest next week.
Next week?
Yes, if we do next week, if we do next Friday.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, actually you might not, because that's when when the bachelorette party is, but maybe another day.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like not a surprise or whatever.
Wait, what?
It might be a surprise, I'm not sure.
I thought she was having it.
I got a call from someone else today on behalf of it.
Then it's probably a surprise.
Well, this will probably come out after.
And I didn't say her name.
Oh, but and how many people do we know?
I don't think she's a an avid listener. I don't think she listens.
You don't think
all
so?
The time. No, I mean, I'm not saying.
I like to assume all my friends and family listen.
I'm not saying she doesn't support us. I know
we should say like hidden things. to see if people pick up on it?
Well,
that we
in the beginning, I was doing, when I would do a lot of shout outs and stuff, I would wait for the person to tell me, like, thanks for the shout out. And I think I know someone who never did. And so I'm like, but no, I'm not going to hold it against you because who has the time, you know?
Right.
But, and I tell people to watch it because I think it's so cool to
and then we can
it.
tell each other it's not because we're not interesting.
I'm so interesting.
I'm so interesting. All right, we're going to end there. I think we're going to end there. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Share your spare. Tell your friends and family.
Yeah, share your spare.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.